am Stavros. Good morning and welcome. And today I am on my way up to Northern Ireland to the Classic Car Show for 2018. So this show is held at the Slieve Donard Hotel in Newcastle in County Down. And it's always a great show this. This is my 4th year now attending this show. And they always have fantastic classic cars on display. And I'm sure this year is going to be as good as ever at this show. So I still have about another 210 miles to drive, guys. I'm just leaving Limerick now. So let's hit this road. So I have arrived at the Slieve Donard Hotel, fabulous location here in Newcastle, and it overlooks the Irish Sea. Great scenery all around here, and over here we have the Mourne Mountains way off there in the distance. So it's time for me now to make my way into the ballroom of the hotel and see what fabulous cars are on display. And here we are inside the ballroom of the hotel, and we have all the cars on display here, looking fantastic. And we also have Bill Forsythe here again. How are you doing, Bill?
Good morning, Stavros. Yes,
we are back again at your fabulous show.
Yes, we are indeed. We are indeed back in the Slieve Donard Hotel in the Grand Ballroom, and here we are on our 24th year. To do this great classic and sports car show. It's always been a success, and I hope it will be this time also. So let me take you on a journey down into the ballroom, and we will look at some fine exhibits as we go.
Great, Bill.
Of course, I think we should start with this 1958 Jaguar Xk 150. And it is, of course, in the dark green colour, which is a very good period popular colour in its day. This is a lovely car, very valuable car, and owned by a local enthusiast and restored by that person. So moving on down, if we look to the other side, of course, then we have a Jaguar Mark II. The Jaguar Mark II, always lovely in red. Always lovely in red, and it's from 1961. It's got the chrome wire wheels. The chrome wire wheels. It's the early model with the deep bumper. Jaguar, well, we can't have a show without a Jaguar, so here we have two sitting side by side. Yes. And well, moving on down maybe to a different era, let me talk about this very unusual Renault 16. Now, there's not many of those left. 1975. There's only 6,000 miles in this car from new. The paintwork is superb, and I think I should maybe tell you a very interesting piece of information about this car. This car would be the only car in this ballroom that, if you were to measure from the centre of the front wheel to the centre of the back wheel, it's different on the other side, and that is a very unique concept. How can that be? But that's the way the car was designed. You would think that that's not possible, but it is. It is possible. And
what's the main reason behind it, Bill?
Well, the main reason behind that is that the rear suspension has a torsion bar and it overlaps each other. The reason for that is that the axle on one side has to sit slightly back as opposed to the suspension on the other side. Right. And you can see this actually by the distance from the back door to the edge of the wheel arch. You would have this wheel arch here would be maybe 5 inches, and on the other side is only 2 inches.
All right.
It's only 2 inches. So that's that was pointed out to me. I didn't even know that, but that was pointed out to me by the person that owned the car. So that is a very unusual car.
Yes.
That would have been Renault's answer to comfort. The suspension in the room inside that car is just perfect.
Excellent.
Now, of course, we never have a show without a Ford. There's always a Ford. And here we have a Ford Escort Mexico from 1972 in the Daytona yellow colour, which again is a perfect example. You don't buy one of these cars for £3,000 or £4,000. In fact, what you're looking at there probably would be more in the region of £18,000.
Wow.
And of course, they're getting more expensive as time goes on. Let me speak about this 1979 Vauxhall Chevette HS. It has been presented to us in this condition, and absolutely super car in silver. Lovely car indeed. Everything about it would be original, down to the checkered seats, and it has the period CB spotlights on it. That is another fine example.
Yeah, it looks very well. Yeah.
Now, moving from that Vauxhall, let me step back into Ford. And we have a Ford Consul Capri. The Ford Consul Capri now, this is a most unusual one. It has been restored, but not to its original colour, and certainly not to its original engine, because this one is a 3-litre V6 with a 5-speed gearbox, and this deep blue colour really enhances the vehicle.
Yes.
A very unusual car, but beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
That's a fantastic
Lovely
example.
indeed.
Yeah.
So now I think we'll maybe move over to something that we haven't had in a long time, and that is a Dolemite Sprint.
Oh.
Not too many of these left. 1973. They would have been a very rotten car on their day, and if you could find one that is going to survive, you'd be very lucky. This one has survived, and the owner of it, in fact, has another one that he's restoring. So from 1973, again in yellow with the black vinyl roof, and that's a Dolemite Sprint.
So Bill, we'll just have a quick look at this Nissan.
Yes, and Nissan, or as most people would call it, a Datsun. A Datsun 280 ZX, again, a very rotten car on its day if it wasn't looked after. This car now would reside in the south of Ireland, and it's automatic. It's got the 2.8 engine. It's a very good body in this car. There's no rust to be seen in this car anywhere. The paintwork is just perfect. And of course you can see how the sunroof here is what they would maybe call a T-bar, where this bit would lift out and you would have plenty of sunshine getting in.
1982.
So we haven't had one of those in the show. This is the first time, so 1982 for a 280 ZX. And again, the owner must be very proud of that. A very lovely car.
Yeah, very nice.
Now, I wonder, should we step back in time a bit? We should maybe step back in time a bit to 1928.
Whoa.
1928. An Austin 6, owned by a Mr. Raymond McGaw from only a few miles from here. He would be a keen collector and a great eye for a car. That is a beautiful car. It came here and it drove in with the engine running like a Swiss watch. It's absolutely perfect. And as you can see, the condition of that is very good. What I like about this car, there's a feature I like about this car, and it is the number plate. And the number plate of this car is BF, my initials of course.
Oh yes.
But the chances of me getting that number plate is slim, but I would like to own that car. Not just the fact that it's a 1928 Austin 6, but the number would suit me very well, as you could imagine. So that's one of the early cars. 1973 Triumph 2000. Again, hard to find, very difficult to find these that are not in poor repair. This is a great survivor, this one here, and is owned by one of our members who would help us with the show, and it is from the Banbridge area, owned by WJF Classics. Moving down here to 1971, where we have a Sunbeam Rapier. Again, a very unusual car. Not that many of these left either. How we find them? Well, we find them by asking people and speaking to people throughout the show over the weekend. This one is owned by a collector, and he has a GT Cortina, which would be equal to this car. Absolutely stunning car, this, for a Sunbeam rapier. Very, very difficult to find. Now I'm going to move into the BMC group, and most classic car men would know what a Wolseley 1885 is, or an Austin 1800, and the nickname of those cars would be a Land Crab. But then BMC Motor Company decided that they would make an Austin 3-litre, which is an overgrown Austin 1800. It's got a long boot on it and a very long front wing, and that was called an Austin 3-litre with a straight 6 petrol engine in it, most of which were automatic. And that engine would be the same engine as in the MGC, the Austin Haley 3-litre, and in fact it goes as far back as being in a small Austin lorry, that same engine. That is a very roomy, spacious, comfortable car. This is the only one that we know of in Northern Ireland, and we're very lucky to have this car at the show, and it's owned by one of our main sponsors. So that is a beautiful car.
We also have a DeLorean.
And then of course we have the DeLorean, yes. The DeLorean, stainless steel bodywork. There were a few that did come out with paint, but this one is in its original condition, and again a very valuable car. A very valuable car indeed. And of course, as you'll see how the door opens, it's not the usual. This is how we enter this car. The one thing you have to watch about this is that you will sit into it very comfortably, but on the way out you have to watch you don't hit your head on the door. You have to get way past the door.
1983.
Yes, 1983. These of course were built down near Belfast in their day, and they were built mostly for American market. As you can see, it's left-hand drive, and they were powered by Renault, a Renault V6 engine in them, and Renault suspension as well. The owner of this particular one has another one which he has all modified, and he calls it Back to the Future car. And it's very eye-catching, but we brought the original one in here, and we're very pleased to have it here.
And Bill, is the bodywork hard to look after?
The bodywork is not easy to look after, because you can't clean that with just whatever you wish. That has to be cleaned with, would you believe, acid. It has to be cleaned with acid, and you would think that acid's a corrosive material, but to the stainless steel, it's the only thing that they can clean it with. So that's the way it has to be cleaned.
It looks very well done.
So,
and Bill, on stage.
Now, well, on stage now, we're into a different ball game here now. On stage, we have our theme, and our theme this year is 50 years of works rally cars in minis. And this is the very week that the Monte Carlo started 50 years ago with the minis. And we are so honoured to have 4 works rally cars on our stage.
Wow.
Now, we didn't even know we had 4 works rally cars available to us. And here we are, 4 works rally cars. And if you look at number 87, for example, number 87 is the car that Paddy Hopkirk would have driven.
Wow.
So, so number 87 is the first car that we'll talk about in terms of Paddy Hopkirk. The one on the other side here, FMO 570 FMO. It was driven by Ari Vatanen, another famous name in the rally team. But here we have 4 very expensive works rally minis. Now, what we're pleased about here is not just the value of these cars on the stage, but the history. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of history to read. We're very proud to show and exhibit these 4 rally minis. The history would be just endless. It would be just endless. And I'm not even sure whether the Mini Club are excited about us being the first to do this. I think they would have liked to have done it. But here we have a stage, and it was all very suitable. Yes. And the Mini Club have been very good to us in staging and arranging for us to have these 4 minis. If you can imagine the speed that these small cars would have got up to, and of course with the right man behind the wheel, you could throw it about every shape and form you like. So it is wonderful that, yes, 50 years ago this week, here we have the 4 cars to commemorate that.
And Bill, Paddy Hopkirk had some controversial words to say after the first, second and third disqualification in 66.
Well, yes, he did, and there'd be a few words that I couldn't repeat on
exactly.
microphone here, so I won't do that.
But it did bring huge publicity to the Monte Carlo rally.
It did.
Back in 66.
It did indeed.
Yeah. But
so there you go, and we're probably looking at somewhere in the region of about 125,000 pounds per car on the stage, in around that. They've all been restored to their original glory, and it's great that they have survived. They really have survived. These cars could have been very easily been crushed and just scrapped, but here they are, back to what they should be. Absolutely.
There is many a mini classic collector out there, Bill, that would give anything for one of these.
Well, the Mini Club must be very pleased to be involved in this. They must be very pleased.
Absolute classic.
A lot of great minis about, but it'd be hard to beat any of those on the stage now.
Yes.
Even a replica would just not be the same. It would just not be the same.
And Bill, we have another mini beside you there.
We have now, this mini here now is owned by Ray Cunningham from Galway. And he is the Galway Mini Centre person, but I'm told that he is the Paddy Hopkirk of today.
Oh.
Yes.
Right.
I'm told that he is the man. And he's competing in this car. This is a 1963 car, totally rebuilt. Absolutely. And I think he's running everything that has to be won.
Yes.
He is the Paddy Hopkirk of today. That's who he is. So we're very pleased to have a car from Galway there. And of course, he was honoured to turn up and be part of this anniversary. That would be on the stage.
You see the bucket seats with the harnesses?
Yeah. The bucket seats and the harnesses and the roll cage and everything as it should be. It's all...
Is it open, Bill?
It may not be. I tend to lock them. No, it's not open, no. So...
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Volkswagen Scirocco from 1977. Again, there's not many of these left. It's when you look at it, you think, well, it's not that old, but it really is. 1977. It's a fair bit back, and it is in lovely, lovely condition, beautiful condition. You would call that a copper metallic. A copper metallic. It's got the glass sunroof in it, and the upholstery is good and unmarked.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I think this might be open.
Yes, that will be open, all right. Okay.
Great.
So,
with the
that's
steering.
the car, it's original condition. It's an automatic version now. Automatic, which is unusual. They weren't automatic. Most of them were manual, but this one just happens to be automatic. So,
But that is just in incredible condition. Just look at it.
It's in very good condition for its age. 39,000 miles from new, from 1977.
Wow.
And that's why it's in that condition. Now, let me speak about Hillman.
Right.
Hillman Avengers, Hillman Imps, Hillman this, Hillman that, but Hillman Avenger Tiger. Now, this would be in opposition to Ford Escort RS 2000s and 1600 Sports. Hillman, they decided that they would bring an Avenger Tiger onto the market. And in 1972, this actual car was the press launch car in Earl's Court in London. So this is the press launch car.
Right.
It was in poor repair. It has been restored, and at that time the owner didn't know it was the press launch car, but they would have produced these cars in a bright yellow or red, and the owner of this car has both. He has a yellow one and this red one, and I decided that I would take the red one for the show, and I'm glad I did, because it is the press launch car in 1972, Avenger Tiger. It's got the period alloy wheels, as I would call them, the Dunlop alloys. Everything you see about this car is as it should be. The striping, the badging, the decals, the black bonnet.
And the big spoiler at the back.
The spoiler at the back, and everything else. And the history of the car is absolutely brilliant. So,
1972.
then we're into the Morris Cooper S, 1968. Again, owned by an enthusiast who knows his minis, Mr. Wells, Mr. Wesley Wells. And this car, yes, I would take this car home. I would like to take this car home. Almond green with the snowberry white roof and the period Dunlop alloys on it and the small wheel arches. Beautiful car. No faults with this car anywhere. You will not fault this car. Now we'll move out of the BMC and we'll go into something different here now. We're into a Lotus Sunbeam, but this one's rally prepared and just rebuilt. And as you can see, everything about it is just, well, obviously it hasn't seen any rallies yet, and it might never see a rally.
Right.
But in 1982, the gentleman that owned this and who has built this is a very smart, clever man who would be building minis, Mini Cooper S's and what have you, most of the time. But he decided that Lotus Sunbeam Talbot, he was going to have a go at that because he had no minis to work on it just at the present time. So this is what Mr. Ken Colbert from Dungannon brought us this year, the Lotus Sunbeam Talbot. I'm sorry I can't put a figure on it. I would be probably totally incorrect. But there's a lot of money that's been spent on that. Now, Austin Healey Frog Eye Sprite. We have had the odd one before, but never in this form. As you can see, Raleigh Monte Carlo. This car actually has history with Paddy Hopkirk. And it's one of the very first, 1959, the early Frog Eye. And this little car, would you believe, is still doing competition work. Still doing a lot of competition work. Driven by a young lady called Felicity McElroy. And fair play to her to go out to have a go at that, because they're an unusual wee car to drive. That fits in really with the theme we have on the stage very well, because there's a Paddy Hopkirk connection there. And then we move back into Mini again in 1970, and here we have another Cooper S from 1970. All these Mini Cooper S's, when you start moving through the ages, they will have all sorts of features, like one will have sliding windows, one will have wind-up windows, the other will have a different grille, and that's because year after year they will change and get better and get smarter looking. Some people would say, no, I would prefer to be older the better, and yes, that is true. But this particular one here, as you can see, underneath the wings is just the same colour as the outside of the wing. Underneath the car has been just so clean and restored to perfection.
It's immaculate.
Some of these cars, of course, as we walk around the show, are not restored. Some of them are original. Now, I'm going to mention another man's name, and that would be Mervyn Johnson from Paddy. Mervyn Johnson has been working at Minis all his life. He would be a man of an age now who should be retired, and he's not retired. But he's been building Minis and racing and rallying Minis all his life. And this is one that he came up with. It's a Mini Midis, not a Mini Marcus. It's a Mini Midis. It's a fiberglass body with a big engine on it, and the proper gearbox for competition use. And again, not an easy thing to get in and out of at all, but it's a very odd car. We have never had one of those, and I have never seen one of those other than in a book or a picture form. And that's from Mervyn Johnson from Paddy. Mervyn was the winner of the Circuit of Ireland many years ago, and has been involved in motorsport for absolute years. Now, Volkswagen Beach Buggy. Well, here we have the Volkswagen Beetle with a different body on it, and very, very well built. And look at the paintwork on that. It's lovely, and that's from 1972. Yeah. So this is a super beach buggy. We don't get much weather here in Ireland to suit that car, but and of course if you go out you have to be sure there's going to be no rain before you get home, because there's no hood. So it's a fun car. It's a credit to the man that owns it, and again he has another collection of vehicles as well. We're down to almost the last vehicle, in fact is the last vehicle that we're going to speak about today, and that's a 1972 Land Rover. Now, we normally have a tractor at this show. There's always a tractor, but we decided this year we'll not have a tractor. We'll have the next best thing, a Land Rover. It's agricultural. This one has been restored, and restored very well, with a nice set of wheels on it, and it's a short wheelbase Land Rover, and it runs just superbly. It just runs like a sweet. So there we have it. There we have it.
Just one more car, Bill.
One more car.
One of my favourites.
Right.
The Fiat 500.
The Fiat 500, okay.
I love these.
Well, we're going to speak about the Fiat 500. We're in Italy now. We're in Italy now, and of course this car would be the smallest car in the show.
Yes.
It's a tiny car. In fact, when you're sitting in that car and you would be in the main road and there's a lorry would pass you, it would frighten you. It would actually frighten you. But it's a Fiat 500, and to be honest, these little cars are so valuable. So valuable, and yet if you were to drive them, the gearbox is awful in them, the brakes is awful in them, there's a lack of power, but once you get it wound up, as it were, it goes very well actually. Changing gears like stirring a bowl of porridge, but you just have to know the car. This one is in nice white colour with the fold back roof, and of course the shape of it is unique. The value of it somewhere between £8,000 and £9,000.
Probably only 12 horsepower.
But it's very low on horsepower. It really
is. The interior, the red and white.
It's 1978, so you could buy this in yellow, you could buy it in red, and you can buy it in white, and there's a period blue as well. And of course you can see it's got the period basket on the back. Well, if you were to buy one that wasn't restored, you're going to give £7,000 or £8,000 for it. Yeah. That's not restored. But that one is a total repaint, a total rebuild. So that is going to come up somewhere in the region of £12,000 or £13,000 or more. Must be more.
Okay, we've plenty of stalls here as well at the Slieve Donard Hotel. We have Irish Vintage Scene magazine here and plenty to see here and buy all your bits and pieces for your cars. We have bric-a-brac, and we have Lyle Freeman here. Lyle, how are you?
Not too bad, Stavros. Good to see you back up at the Slieve Donard here.
You've brought a massive collection from your shop.
Yes, just brought a few bits and pieces from our shop in Coleraine, Old Times in Coleraine. Everything really here today.
You got a couple of guns there.
We have a few guns, you know what I mean. We are decommissioning in the north. Right. We also have a car for sale up here. We have a BMW Z3.
All right.
25,000 mile on it. It's actually a barn find. It's very cheap. Has to be sold. You can contact me at all times in Korean anytime.
Call that number, guys, if you want to buy a BMW Z3 with 25,500 miles. 2 owners from new, 1998. Lyle is the man to contact.
Yes, because I need the money. And we have a lot of jumble up with us here as well. We have fishing gear. We really have something for everybody.
And you'll be here all day tomorrow as well.
We'll be here all day tomorrow, so anybody wants to contact me, I'm on the phone.
And all your little men here as well.
Yes, I brought a few friends with me.
Yes. So guys, if you want to buy any of these, be sure and check out Lyle Freeman at the Slieve Donard.
Yes, all times Korean.
Okay.
So there we are, the 24th year. I hope everyone comes back next year to help us. Well, we will celebrate 25 years of this show next year. I would like to thank everyone who has come in the past, and I would like to thank everyone who will hopefully come in the future. And we're open until 10 o'clock tonight. We're open in the morning at 10, Sunday morning until 5. And it's all in aid of cancer research. So please come along and support cancer research, and it'll be the most comfortable show you will ever enter.
And
You'll
Bill,
not want to go home.
Just to remind everyone that next year, not one single car that's here now will be on display next year. It's a 15-year rule.
Yes, that is correct. We do not repeat the cars. We do our very best not to repeat the cars, but if we do have to repeat for a certain theme, well then your car would have to be probably 15 years or thereabouts from what was here last.
Yes.
We try and not repeat, and we've been doing very well so far.
That's great, Bill.
It's a new show every year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bill. Thank you.
So what a fantastic show it is here today at the Slieve Donard Hotel. The classic cars are just incredible. The standard is so high. But of course the highlight has to be the 4 minis, the Rally Works minis on stage. The first time ever 4 of them have been at one event in Northern Ireland. Absolutely fantastic to see. And there are a mini collector around the world that would love to have one of those minis on stage in their collection. But 4 of them at one event, it's very, very rare to see. But yeah, that is where I'm going to leave you all today, guys. Thank you all very much for watching. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll talk to you all again next weekend for another video. So until then, take care and thanks for watching. Cheers!